Here's a question that might sting just a little bit. Is hiding money from your partner actually as bad as physical cheating? I'm Zach, and welcome to today's explainer for Zak Wealth Files, where we're going to break down a massive hiding money epidemic that could be quietly undermining your financial future and your relationship right now. We aren't dealing with vague theories today. We're looking at real, hard data about a financial blind spot that affects millions. I want you to picture a couple you know well. Let's call them Sarah and John. They share rent, they share a life, but what they don't share might be quietly tearing them apart.
Take a look right here at this number, 43%. A recent national survey actually asked people to compare keeping financial secrets to physical cheating, and 43% of people said yes, keeping a financial secret from a partner is at least as bad as physical infidelity. So we aren't talking about some small, fringe minority holding a strong opinion here. That is nearly half the country stating that financial deception is the ultimate betrayal.
And here's the setup that makes that 43% figure so incredibly alarming. According to a 2026 study by Fidelity Investments, nearly 1 in 4 partnered adults are currently hiding a money secret from the person they live with. We're not talking about something from their past that they just forgot to mention. We're talking about an active, ongoing reality for a quarter of the couples out there. It means if it isn't Sarah and John, it's statistically highly likely to be happening to a couple you know really well.
To understand how we even get there, we need to look at the starting financial situation for the average couple. 70%, that's the percentage of couples who don't actually know their partner's full financial picture until after they have already moved in together. Think about that for a second. Financial transparency is happening relatively late in the relationship timeline. It often occurs way after major shared decisions, like signing a lease or buying all that furniture, have already been made, rather than being established early on before things get emotionally and financially complicated.
Now, what's really fascinating is the generational breakdown of who is actually committing this financial infidelity. This is pulled from a 2026 Bankrate survey. You might assume that younger generations, who generally champion openness and mental health transparency, would be way better at this. But the data says the exact opposite. Gen Z respondents were actually the most likely to admit to financial infidelity at a staggering 67%. Millennials follow right behind at 54%, with older generations coming in much lower. So this epidemic heavily impacts younger viewers.
So what exactly crosses the line into financial infidelity? Because honestly, it encompasses far more than most people initially assume. It's not just some offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Using the exact parameters from that Bankrate survey, financial infidelity is defined as keeping a secret expense, an undisclosed debt, a secret credit card, or a hidden savings or checking account from a current partner. Basically, if you're deliberately shielding a piece of your financial reality from the person you are building a life with, you're stepping right into this territory.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, the most commonly reported form is simply undisclosed overspending, spending more money than your partner would be comfortable with without telling them. This accounts for about a third of all respondents. Close behind that, and nearly a quarter of respondents, is hidden debt. It also includes things like lying about the actual price of a purchase or covering up a specific charge on a shared account.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really vital nuance that we have absolutely got to get right today. Having separate money isn't the enemy. Notice the comparison here. Healthy financial independence involves disclosed separate accounts. Financial secrecy involves undisclosed separate accounts. There are plenty of financially healthy couples who maintain separate accounts alongside shared ones. The defining factor is simply disclosure. A separate account your partner knows about? That's a perfectly normal boundary. A separate account they don't know exists? That's a secret.
So how do these secrets actually form in the first place? Well, most people don't just wake up one day and decide to maliciously deceive their partner. It happens slowly, grown out of a communication gap. 91% of couples feel like they're communicative because they talk about money broadly. They talk about wanting to buy a house someday or wanting to retire early. But only 29% actually discuss granular, day-to-day spending. There's this massive gap between feeling like an open couple and actually being transparent about the daily reality of where your cash goes. Financial infidelity lives comfortably right in that gap. It's just the slow accumulation of small, undisclosed spending that nobody ever got around to fully discussing.
And the main reason they don't discuss it? Over 40% of people in the Fidelity survey admitted they specifically avoid money conversations with their partner just to prevent arguments. Which means that a lot of financial secrecy isn't born out of a desire to cheat, it's born out of conflict avoidance. But that avoidance compounds over time into a deception that eventually looks and feels exactly like a malicious secret.
Which leads us to the turning point in our analysis today. When the truth finally comes to light, what actually breaks?
Let's revisit that stinging question from the beginning. Why is this rated by nearly half the country as being as bad as physical cheating? The answer from behavioral psychology is fascinating, because the core issue isn't really about the dollars and cents.
Here is the absolute crux of the matter. When one partner discovers hidden debt or spending, it means decisions the couple made together, taking a vacation, buying a home, deciding how much to contribute to retirement, were actually based on numbers that weren't real. It retroactively puts a massive question mark over decisions that felt completely settled and trusted. It fundamentally breaks the foundational trust of your shared reality.
Let's look at how this builds into real, tangible damage through the compounding effect. We all know compound interest can build wealth, right? Like a snowball rolling down a hill, but here it destroys it. Addressed debt can be managed as a team, but hidden debt snowballs silently while it stays hidden, specifically because openly addressing it is the exact thing being avoided. By the time it's finally discovered, you aren't just dealing with a trust deficit, you're dealing with a vastly larger financial hole, multiplying both the financial and emotional damage simultaneously.
Whether you want to prevent this from ever happening or you're currently navigating the fallout of a financial secret, we need a concrete plan. So here are your 5 steps derived directly from the source data. Step 1, talk actual numbers early. Don't wait until you move in together. Discuss real debt and spending habits before major decisions happen. Step 2, disclose separate accounts. Remember, independence is healthy, secrecy is not. Step 3, build a daily spending talk habit. Close that communication gap by moving beyond big picture dreams and talking about day-to-day realities. Step 4, proactively disclose existing secrets. If you're hiding something, bringing it to light yourself limits the damage far more than continued concealment. And Step 5, allow real time to rebuild trust. Financial recovery often happens way faster than emotional recovery. You have to treat this like any other significant breach of trust.
Now, just a quick, calm disclaimer before we wrap up today. Every relationship and financial situation is deeply personal. This Explain It reflects general survey research and publicly reported patterns. It is not personalized relationship or financial counseling. If financial secrecy has severely damaged your relationship, seeking out a specialized couples financial counselor is definitely the smartest investment you can make.
The goal of every explainer we do here at Zak Wealth Files is to ensure you walk away knowing exactly what to do next. Clarity is great, but action builds stability. So here is your action step for this week. Sit down and talk specifically about day-to-day money with your partner. Ask yourself honestly, does your partner know your full financial picture? The earlier and more specifically you talk about the granular details, the less room there is for this hidden epidemic to take root in your life. If this breakdown gave you the clarity to have an honest, even if uncomfortable conversation, then hit subscribe to join us for more. I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the next explainer.